They ain't going, I didn't say you like it. Okay. Good morning, Yasha Allah, on this beautiful, hot, sunny day. I am delighted in the Ruach of Allahaya, Mashiach, our Malach, and Abba Yahweh to be in your presence now and share a moment of Abba's counsel with you, my brethren in Yasha Allah, and with the nations of the earth. To Yasha Allah, my brothers and sisters, in all the diaspora. And then when we remember that the house of Yehuda, according to Luke chapter 21, somewhere in there it says that, and they shall be, scattered abroad into all the earth. That's speaking of the three tribes in Yehuda, scattered into all the earth. So in all the earth, we bring greetings to Yehuda and to the 12 tribes in all the diaspora, my brethren. Greetings again. We greet you with Yashayahu, Isaiah 52 in verse 1. Awake, awake. Put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the set apart city. For from now on, there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. So again, my brethren, I continue with the greeting because, well, I know, and together we know that we have endured a feat of excuse me for laughing, but it's kind of humorous to me. We have endured a feat, a trial of faith that has been required of no other nation in the earth. We've been through many times and duration of enslavement with the nations of the earth. Yeah. You nations of the earth, all of you can hear me. You had Yasha Allah enslaved many times, and you've thoroughly enjoyed yourselves. So the scriptures seem to say, and even now, there are a whole lot of you making underground bunkers to hide yourself from the Most High because of the dirt you know that you have done to his children. Anyway, we'll get to more of that later. But in all depth of greeting and charity, love, I greet you, my brethren, having an understanding myself, and in myself, knowing the feat of trials of suffering that we have endured in the earth on the behalf of the Most High, our Father, and of our Mashiach, Yahushua, the Malach, Yahushua, you know your name, in the name of the Most High and his Son, his word that came to be born of a virgin through the eternal Ruach, his spirit, to bring redemption to Yasha'Allah, because he made a covenant with our father Abraham long ago that he would do this. And so, while we are still in the way of going through, we are going through. And in this atonement period that's coming up, we're not going to go through and come out as we make our path back towards our homeland that the nations are so incensed against and are seeking. But they have a determination in their minds, along with Gabriel, the fallen, and all the fallen with him. Demons, despicable demons, instruments of terror, darkness, destruction, that the Most High, our Abba, set upon us because of our rebellion. He said, he let them free on us because we didn't want to obey. We thought he was being hard with us, and we rebelled. And he allowed the nations to chastise you and me for these many hundreds of years, enslaved and brutalized, and putting all your effort, all your strength into working, building, fortifying the nations, when you could have been doing it for your own nation, for your own advancement. But you rebelled against the Most High. Hey, man, you put the Most High through some stress, Yasha'Allah. Our Abba and the Mashiach and the Ruach, you put him through some stress, Yasha'Allah. The disobedience and rebellion that he got to let you go out of the place. Even you look in Jeremiah and Yashaiah, you know, those prophets. I mean, the prophet Jeremiah wished that his head was full of water so he could cry over Yasha'Allah. That's how rebellious we were. And the Most High said, I'm going to teach you something for rebelling. And so, in love, he has rebuked and chastised us. We're coming to the point, Yasha'Allah, where he's coming to free us. And so, we're still under duties to go through some affliction. And as I was sharing with you, we have been afflicted by two brothers in Yahweh, the brothers Esau and Levi. We shared it at length with you to show you the anti-messiahship that was against Yahweh and brought us down, made us targets of Esau's gun for these hundreds of years, targets of his gun. And he, you know, in the fellowship of a blood sacrifice, a blood covenant, those two brothers decimated Yahweh. And we thank the Most High for letting us know that we can make our way out of that bond, out of that bondage, and into freedom, into the sunlight again with our Mashiach. So, you know, we talk about the twin rebels, Esau and Levi, and having discussed them at length, we we see the result, or I think I should say result. We see the result of the intent to rebel against the Most High, in the most intense ways, as these two brothers have done it. I mean, all the nations together have done it, but these two brothers, under Gabriel, under Satan, man, they've done it. They've done it. I mean, you know, the Apocrypha tells us not to trust thine enemies. You know, because like you have steel or nails rusting, so is his wickedness. And we have a clear understanding of this when you look back and see how Esau came amongst our people and still is willing to come amongst our people and conduct interviews. They want to see how we are doing, how we are faring under their brutality. But the brutality is hidden, or was hidden, that you was not even aware of it. You thought we were going honky-dory and moving into utopian brotherhood. And that's what Esau had you thinking. Why are you putting the nail straight into your heart? And of course, Levi, the priest that the father instituted as one who would show compassion to Yasha, you know, one set between the Most High and Yasha to be a source of comfort by way of having a word of hope from the Most High to give to Yasha in whatever kind of situation of hurt, pain, or sorrow, or need of counsel. The Levites were instituted to provide that for the nation as a type of the Mashiach. And they failed miserably. But we're calling the brothers in Levi who are willing, who are desirous, repenting unto the Most High, to come and let us reason together, says the Most High, and the rest of Yahweh. Let's reason and let's work it out. Get it straight, get it right. And so, hopefully by now, we've seen the result of rebellion in our brothers, Esau and Levi. And I'm trusting that many of us, hopefully most of us, would understand that the Most High is the power over all, the Elohim of all flesh, the Elohim of all spirit. For the brother, I want to reference the brother again who has been talking about we don't need, you know, the scriptures and this talk about Yasha Allah and dedication to the Most High. All we need is spirituality. Most High Elohim, Yahweh, is the Elohim of all flesh and all spirit. So where are you going with your spirituality? Where are you getting it from? Check. And now, let's take Isaiah, Yeshayahu 19, 1-3. As we take our final view for this exercise, we take our final view of the twin rebels and all who wish to follow in their path. Isaiah 19. 1 through 3. Isaiah 19. You probably find it quicker than me. And Isaiah 19, Yeshayahu 19, 1-3. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Most High, Elohim, rideth upon a swift cloud. I want to remind you that in the time when these prophecies were given, for instance, we go back to the time of Moshe, our forefather, the Levite, Moshe, when he saw the sight and vision, the burning bush, and was further encouraged by the Most High. In Exodus 33, I believe it is, that the Most High said, well, in fact, Moshe said, show me what you look like. And he says, there's a place nearby me. I'm gonna hide you under the rock so that you can see me, but you can't see my face. Get that, brothers. The Elohim of all creation, the Father and the power of all flesh and all spirit, granted our forefather, the Levite, Moshe, to see him, saw the complete Elohim, except that he didn't allow him to see his face. I grant you, brothers and sisters, that this was who we call today the Father, the Word, and the Ruach. All were present at one time, so that our forefather Moshe could see him. He only didn't let him see his face. But in the process of bringing in or securing salvation for Yasha I use the word split up. He split himself up to send his word out to come into the flesh. He prepared a body for him. And I think it's written in the scriptures where the Mashiach referenced the prophet that sacrifices and offerings weren't enough for you. They didn't get the real work done. But you prepared me a body. And this is the body that came by the virgin birth that so many of our brothers, and I dare say sisters, have been rejecting. Mashiach is coming down this atonement to get your word on it. What do you say? Who do you say I am? Coming down for you. You want to rebel some more? It's your time. You can rebel if you want. If you want to continue, it's up to you. But we at home, brothers and sisters, I would like us to go together with the Mashiach. He's coming to deliver us from the foolishness of Esau and the nations and the government and all of them that think they have some power. When the most I get through with them, this time you can be worse off than the Egyptians. And you know the description given, the Egyptians were floating all over the reed. See the sea of reeds. It was floating all over, man. You're playing with consuming fire. I'm trying to show you, Yasha Allah, the Father who put in operation the plan of salvation to save you unto himself as his peculiar treasure, that he bruised his son, his word that he sent into the flesh. Bruise them, man. Let them, those Romans If we use the word, they mash him up good. Oh yeah, you see how Esau does it today when he shoots you down, shoot you up, and burn you up, hack you to pieces, and hide you, and nothing comes of it. This is this is the treatment they put on the Mashiach, and he endured it to bring you and me to safety, and to be able to give us revelation that show us what the enemy has intended against us and what he had done, what he has done against us, to give us understanding of where we are, or where we have been, what our condition was. When we didn't understand, we didn't know. We were lacking in knowledge and wisdom of what we were enduring, but through revelation by the Ruach and by Mashiach. Don't you love it that we have understanding to know what Esau and Levi were doing against us? Come on, brothers and sisters. We got to give the Mashiach some credit. We got to understand that we're dealing with unquenchable fire when we're dealing with the Elohim of the cosmos, the maker of heaven and earth. I think I said it before, I want to say it again. the Pope, I think it's in Italy, yeah? And the Vatican, they're scouring the heaven night and day, trying to get an understanding of how it is that he made the heavens and earth, and he set the earth, the world, upon nothing. And they're trying to find out how that could be. They're trying to find out how that is. I mean, in reference to the one little earth. But look at the heavens. Look at the worlds, the the galaxies that the Most High put together. And he saw, and the Pope trying to find out how the earth is floating and spinning upon nothing. They've been trying forever. And forever to come, they will be trying. Most High won't let you find it out. You're too arrogant and proud. So he show you your littleness, that you can't even figure what's going on with the one little earth. And there's, a multiplicity of creation over our heads and around us. No contest. You don't even know. I mean, you didn't know what was out there until you started doing your telescope. The scriptures told you, but you didn't believe, and the Most High allowed you to make your telescopes and whatever have you, and now you can see it. And you want to contest the Most High. You Esau, you read little nothing. You want to contest the Most High. He can see you. You ain't gonna be floating now. You're gonna be burning. Yeah, it's coming for you. So, the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Most High rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, into Mizraim. This is where Esau got all his knowledge and his wisdom from, with Pythagoras and all them Greeks, Esau Greeks, different ones. Behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, Mizraim, where Esau got all his knowledge from, and all his courage. The Egyptians, Mizraim, filled him with courage. They told him they had the Sephiroth tree of Amun Ra that will secure you in ways that will put some pain on you. And we went through some pain, I'm telling you. Still, still coming out. The Moshiach is our guarantee of release from these instruments of cruelty that Levi has practiced upon us. Your freedom is in the Mashiach. Fear not, Yasha Allah. Fear not. It's painful, very painful, excruciatingly painful, and distracting. So painful that you have much difficulty catching your breath. You're going because you're in so much torture under the weight of these instruments of cruelty that Mitzrayim, Esau, and Levi has devised against you and practiced on you with. These instruments have destroyed you. You couldn't concentrate on the matter at hand. That's how serious these instruments of cruelty have been to you, Yasha Allah. But we come in the name of our Mashiach, our Master, our Elohim, to encourage you to stand your ground. You remember that word? Stand, therefore, the apostle says, in the Most High. I think in Ephesians 6. Stand. Having done all, stand. You are standing in much weariness and painfulness, but stand, Yasha Allah. Stand, brothers and sisters. You're weary and you're tired and you're falling down and you hardly can catch your breath because of pain from the instruments of cruelty that have been practiced on you. But watch this. The Mashiach, through the Father and the Rabbah, life giver. I mean, at this minute, he can bring everything into utopia. You feel no pain, everything be real fine. But you see it now. The Most High is an Elohim of order. And his order is set forth in the Torah. But we have been a rebel, a rebel host against the Torah, against his will, to get his kingdom set right. And now, what can we say for Esau? What can we say from the other nations? Rebels! Rebels against the order of the Most High. And because the Most High is so much pain and suffering. And as almighty as he is, it will be no contest with him wiping you out. I mean, you know, he wink his eye and you'll be gone. But he wants to have a relationship with us, Yasha Allah. He made the covenant at Sinai with our fathers in the presence of Moshe, the Levite, and Aaron. Made the covenant to be our Savior. That's what the scripture says. In all our affliction, I think it's Isaiah 19 and where is it? Where is it? I'll find it later on, bring it to you. Let me finish reading this. So the Most High says, we're starting over. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Most High sitteth or rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt. This is the foundational strength of Esau and Levi. He's coming into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt, Mizraim, shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor. city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the Spirit. I want a brother who talk about we must deal with spirituality. In verse 3 of Isaiah, Yeshayahu 19, it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy. This is Yahweh speaking in the Mashiach and in his Ruach. I will destroy the counsel thereof of Egypt, and they shall seek to the idols. You know, Amun Ra and Seti and all of them who had themselves set up for big names and big time. You know, all the idols. And to the charmers, they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits. There's those brothers of Gadriel again, the rebels of heaven that were cast out in Revelation chapter 12. Cast out. Familiar spirits, and to the wizards, and the Egyptians will I give. This is the Most High speaking. You think you have some power? You want to contest them, eh? Esau, Levi, you want to contest the Most High. Look at this. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. And the fierce king shall rule over them. These are the proud people who had all the mystery knowledge, wizards and warlocks, and Sephiroth and Kabbalistic 8 and whatever have you. I will give, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh, the Elohim of hosts. And the waters shall fail from the sea, the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. So to Esau and Levi, who have thought to give their allegiance to the wizardry and the witchcraft and all that private hooey that you have done and still are contented to do. The Most High got you on the radar, and his determination is to set the 12 tribes free of you. Had enough of your foolishness. You're talking about in North America, you got them sissy police talking about they want one more chance. To do what? Get all your necks chopped off? You think the Most High is your buddy? You think the Most High is your neighbor? You can go and pick the lock of his house and get inside and cause damage and ruin? That's who you think the Most High is? You won't get a chance to see it. For the moment, brethren, and across the earth, I want to share with you now a part of, well, let me put it this way. When I shared with you, brothers and sisters, my autobiography that I began in 2013, it was, I believe, and some 4 years, it was completed. And I told you before that the Jewish came in search of the documentary because it was on my computer desktop. And I believe the command came from Area 51. I'm not, I mean, like, my determination concerning the knowledge is not like 100% in that sense, because I was so infuriated that they came on the desktop of my computer and took two pieces of my document, two finished copies of my document, and I watched it vanish off the desktop right like that. And I was infuriated. And I called upon the Father, and he sent the archangel from Daniel chapter 12 and escorted me out through the portal to deal with them. You understand? So what happened, or what's going on now, is my documentary, Rising to the Final Battle. It was some completed in about 830, 850 pages. But those of you who have copies or a copy of the document, you might, well, I think in some ways you would see that there was some tentative, unfinished. It was just some question marks in it. Yet you would see from the authorship that some things were not completely settled, and so it is. So it was that when I did the documentary, the autobiography of my life, something was, well, at least in my mind, I knew that something was missing, and I couldn't say what it was because I really didn't know. I was trying to find out. And what I come to find out was given to me by the Ruach, the Spirit of the Most High, in May of this year, 2020, by revelation. The Spirit of the Most High came and showed me what was missing in and from the documentary, Rising to the Battle. What was missing was that in my beginnings, approximately, well, actually a week and a couple of days after my birth, as this Ruach revealed to me, my aunt, the oldest sister of my mother, had me in her house. Now, this was in Morris Island. I was born in Morris Island, Abaco. You probably see it on the map. This is Morris Island, where I was born in 1953. And within 2 weeks of my birth, my aunt, my mother's sister, the oldest child of the family, took me in her house, because our houses were, close together, a little track road in between. And her house, my aunt's house, was right next to this street that leads out to the beach, to the seaside. So she took me in her arms while sitting in her rocking chair. Rocking chair is like facing south. So it's in the north, facing south in the house. And she took me in her hands, had her hands cupped under my head. And quickly, as the vision was moving, I saw the Baphomet, the two-horn piece of garbage, appear on her left. She was sitting in the rocking chair, got me in her hand, cupping my head, a week and a few days old. And Gadriel, the Baphomet, came on her left. That is like to the east side of the rocking chair. And I heard him say, I want him for a sacrifice. Give me him for a sacrifice. And she said, okay, all right. And so the written documentary that you have, this information here would be the the precursor, the real beginning chapter of that documentary. And so from there, as I continue to develop and grow, within about 2-3 years, the aunt and her Turks Island Masonic warlord, warlock, Mr. Cox from Turks Island. Now, I'm not saying these things and mentioning the name of the man because I hate all Turks Islanders. No, people are wicked all over the earth. Disgustingly wicked, satanic, all over the earth. And I want to say that I know that we have brothers and sisters of Yashala in the island of Turks Island, in the islands of Turks Island. So shout out to the brothers and sisters of Yashala and Turks Island and all the people of Turks Island. But I'm only referencing the hatred and the disgust and evil in this man as a Mason, Masonic garbage, haters of the Most High, and think that they have the authority and the power to overthrow the Most High and his people. Most High coming for you. You see what you're going to do then. But this is part of our battle and our trial in the earth, Yasha'Allah, that we have been in captivity unto Masons, the Masonic, 400 years, and they come back and they're police in the US and say, give them some more time. They ain't finished the job of making you homosexuals and faggots, beasts, evil, disgusting, stink beasts. This is what they have been to you, Yashala. So, you've endured some affliction. The scriptures is, have plenty references and from the Old and the New Testament. You see the brothers, Shaul and the different ones, Jacob and all the brothers writing in the New Testament. They talk about the flight of affliction that they were enduring under Rome. The same people who are contesting us now, talking about give them some more time. And so I go back in my train of thought in the documentary. My aunt, having already made a pact with Satan concerning me, as a baby, a mere baby. This is the depth of hate and destruction from the Masonic order, and it's a quite chilling experience, as I view it, that I have to recognize myself being in a land and subject, to a government that's Masonic, full of hate and destruction against righteousness. This is what we're dealing with. Most High coming for you. Hey, yeah, Katobo Shai. So the aunt came in a few years. Well, she came, she was in and out of Mozart. That's her home. It wasn't the home of the warlock, But she came to would usually be taken up with the mother, because the women had this idea of woman being in charge. So that's the way they did it. And being family, they basically that's the way they worked it. But of course, the mother, to her credit, she would go to the father, to my dad, and ask or put the case to make me an orphan to my aunt. And I want you to see this. My mother nor my dad. None of them knew that my auntie had sold me over to the Baphomet, a stink piece of garbage like Satan. She committed me to Satan. Less than 2 weeks old. I am finding this out now, this year, 2020, in May. The Ruach of the Heavenly Father brings it and reveals it to me. After, the aunt had put in her bid, and she wanted to have papers for me, but the father didn't allow my mother to give her papers for me. My mother had no knowledge of the fact that my aunt had made an agreement with Satan for me and against me. And so, to make it a little short, they, agreed to let me be with my aunt at the age of 6, 1959, on the 13th of December, 1959. I left the familiar surroundings of Morris Island to go over and be with my aunt, who had already sold me out to Satan. And I lived with her for a while, with her and her warlock piece of garbage. And they began their profiling on me. And in the first year, my 6th year and so forth, getting into the 7th year, they were a little quiet. They were working their thing, man. And I was watching every move they made, I watched every move because I was uncertain. I felt that fear and trepidation concerning them. So I kept watching on them. And by the time I was 7, I was sure that they had an agenda against me. Couldn't tell what it was. But I was real nervous and watching everything that they were doing. Entered into school, and by the time I was 8, going to 9, I realized that I was in a war zone. Not knowing the nature of the war zone in terms of how the war was being conducted against me. I didn't know that they had offered me to Gabriel and Satan. But I was aware that there was some kind of agenda against me. The beatings, the thumpings that I was getting from my aunt let me know that there was something going on against me. I couldn't figure out what it was. And as I progressed, kind of moving up in grade in school, I realized by how the relationship was going that there was something working between her and the man, the warlock. I mean, in terms of family relationship and how children are groomed, and nurtured to fulfill their role in life, in society. I saw the shift that was going on between the two grown-ups, how they were grooming me. And in the first instance, it was the aunt, grooming me according to her way, destroying my education. Oh yeah, she destroyed me. She was zealous towards destroying my concentration on education. And I saw that. I saw that very early. Like I said, like around 7. And she gave me a little time when I first got there. She gave me a little time to get settled in. I watched all of it. Once she thought I was settled in, she began to unleash the tornado of destruction in my life that led me to the conclusion by the time I was 8 that I had to stop concentrating on getting an education and find some way to get some knowledge of why I was being attacked the way she was attacking me. You see? That is what I guess I should say. I think I should say, in all fairness, that the Spirit of the Father was leading me to search to find out what was going on in the background. So I began to, you know, not lose. I loved education. I wanted to get all the education I could, but she was in my way. So I had to pay attention to this thing that was in my way. And that's what happened to me in school very early. I had to give up, you know, all that eagerness and attention I was giving to education to find some source of knowledge that would uh, uh, teach me some kind of knowledge that would help me to figure out why this aunt was attacking me the way she was. And then the switch came where she turned me over to the man, to the warlock, and he did his thing. And in the end, their goal was to have me sacrificed to IT. Uh, and so you would get a feeling for what I was going through by the fact that in these deliveries that I am presenting to you, Yasha Allah, I'm um, showing or declaring to you what happened to me in my whole life through my aunt and the warlock, Masonic man, from birth at Mars Island. Baphomet presented himself or itself and petitioned to have me as a sacrifice. And the trek of experience that I was being dealt by my aunt and the Masonic warlock Doug was putting me in the direction to be picked up. I'll use the word to be picked up by the Levitical priests of IT and to have me transferred to IT. And so this is the track that the teachings that the Father had me delivered to Yashala. This is the track that they have taken to deliver the word in such a way that at a certain point I would be led to the place of sacrifice where I was intended to be sacrificed in the end in IT. That is what my whole life was geared to. Growing up to whatever age that should have been in their minds, in the mind of the people who were doing the sacrifice. Levi, fallen Levites, fallen priests. And I noticed over time, I can't say exactly when it really became such an interest to me, or it became vivid, more vivid in my mind, this thing of being a sacrifice and now being directed to the Haitian voodoo. That's how it was going with me as I was growing and maturing. I was getting the direction to guide me to IT. And in this year, as I'm speaking to you, near the time that the Father was bringing the revelation to me of what occurred in my early infancy, I noticed that the priesthood in IT, my brothers, were continuously, every day and night, worse than before. They had their crystal balls looking into the Bahamas. and looking for me, looking to have, inside knowledge of where I was and what I was doing. And the Ruach of the Father shut down the what should I say? It shut them down from being able to see here in the Bahamas as they had been doing previously. All of my growing years, they were constantly with their crystal balls looking in the Bahamas and looking for me, keeping a check on me. And this year, as the Father was getting ready to give me the revelation on what happened in my early life, what I couldn't tell you in the documentary of Rising to the Final Battle, was that transaction that was taken, or that was um, done. I need a shorter word, but this transaction that was carried out between my aunt and Gabrielle, the piece of garbage that we call Satan, to have me as a sacrifice. And then, the thing I come to understand that the whole Masonic world would get this knowledge, would become aware of it. And hence, through my life, I became acutely aware that I was being watched by all the authorities, the police and different ones. They were watching me, and I was like, what's this all about? Until I, you know, took a more serious view of the fact that I already had the knowledge that my aunt and her warlock mate had me in a way that they had me. Destroy all my intent to get an education. Well, not the intent itself, but all my efforts, everything I was trying to do to get an education and conduct myself in a way to make that possible, destroyed everything. And I found out that in my own decision making, what I was deciding was being knocked down. And I felt the otherness of a presence with me that made me be afraid to look into the mirror and to look into my own eyes. I was fearful. I, I had the sense of something or someone else being there with me, but I couldn't figure how it would be there, how it could get there without my knowledge. Oh, they had me under some serious problem. 2 open heart surgery as a result. Uh, well, by that time, emotionally and spiritually, my heart was broken a long time from a little boy. My aunt, she secured that. She and the man. The man didn't really do, you know, much of beating. He'd make threats. He made threats. But in making his threats, he said words that my aunt latched onto and made a part of her regiment of crucifixion. I put it that way, that she did to me, because she was doing it on his behalf, so that I guess nobody could say that it was himself directly who was doing what he needed done as the warlock, as the controller. So what he suggested, she carried out and had me all broken up inside, separated. My body was separated inside. 2 open heart surgeries. The tractor accident split me up inside. And all the time, I'm trying to wonder what was going on. And the fact that there was a presence that I felt that I, you know, really understood there was a presence there with me, but I don't know how this presence got there. And as a devotee to the Most High, it was very disconcerting to me. And then, of course, we had the Christianity embattlement with Jesus. I mean, the filth of Christianity. It was some punishment that I went through until the Most High got me to see the difference of what was going on in the scriptures and to know the tampering that Esau done with it to cause confusion and to create separation between us and our Alahai and our Mashiach. And happily, I can say to you now that as of May 2020, the Ruach revealed to me what I'm sharing with you, what my aunt did in concert with the Baphomet. Stink, disgust, and Satan. Masonic filth, hatred against the Most High, and against all who love Him and serve the Most High and our Mashiach. And that is what freed me. As I got the revelation, I was doing a teaching with some brothers and sisters on the same matter, because I had been directed to deal with the Levitical question, and in the dealing with the question of the Levites and their rebellion against the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High finally opened it up to me. Because in Levi and in Haiti, that is the place where I should be made, or how would I put it? That's the place that where the sacrifice was to be offered. Myself as the sacrifice, that is where I should be offered. And so the Most High tied up the whole thing of the fact that I should be official offering in Haiti by the fallen Levitical brothers. He put it all together that I would be chosen to teach on the apostasy of the Levites. That's how it all came together. And then, I was teaching brothers and sisters, younger brothers and sisters, who are themselves coming into the knowledge of our heritage, and but being lacking in the depth of knowledge, as I was sharing with them, and it hit me the fact that I was ministering to the Levites who are stationed in IT itself. It came together to me. This is the place where I was scheduled to be, and the Most High tied it all together. The direction to go to IT was where the Levites would have become. The Most High sent me there. Well, He sent me to unearth the demonic, satanic relationship that they had forged with Satan, whereby they could see me or look at me and desire me as a sacrificial offering unto them, know that I was desirous of having a relationship with our Father in heaven, who once was their Father. I mean, I shouldn't think to myself that all the Levites, are I shouldn't think to myself that all the Levites, are apostate, because I know the struggle going on in IT itself. Brothers and sisters are fighting for their lives against the fallen Levitical priesthood. But the spirit children, the connection from my birth until now, that was the trek that my aunt and her Masonic warlock had me on. And I get there almost 70 years later and suffered tremendous, excruciating pain and suffering from the Masonic order, Takobosha. All of my life, barely born into the earth, and the Masons was on me, trying to destroy me, make me a sacrifice to a stink piece of nothing like Gabriel. All of my life, I've been enslaved here in the Bahamas. Enslaved here in the Bahamas from a week, a couple days old. Taka. These Masons look upon me. And in their networking, they all knew. The police and everybody, they knew. And I saw them looking at me, these cross eyes, and, looking at me. And the father had me to read what was going on among them. All of them looking to destroy me, sacrifice me to a nothing that they regard as. Oh, man. And so, brothers and sisters, when the Levites were, a few months ago, busy scouring the Bahamas with their crystal balls, looking for me, because by now I'm supposed to be coming in as well. Actually, they were trying to get me in some time before, but they couldn't get it done. In fact, in 1975, my aunt's lover, a Masonic warlock, that she was living with and so forth, he went to Haiti a couple of times in search of securing me as that sacrificial offering. And in fact, when the Roa showed me, took me into Haiti, I saw the piece of the mountain that is changed up. I saw it when then Father showed it to me. And showed me the voodoo priest sitting down to do his work with a little, I guess, a kind of tom-tom drum. And the drum had a kind of opaque look at, from the top of the skin where you would beat. It had this opaque, off-white or tan color. But when the priest got behind it and he did his thing, it turned into a mirror. It turned into a real mirror. And I stood on the south side of the operation. This was in the mountains in Haiti. And my aunt's lover stood on the north side, the priest to the west side of the arrangement. And he did this thing, and this thing became like a mirror. And then I heard him shouting out, "No, no, no, I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing for you, nothing." Like Apostle Saul says in the book of Acts, I believe, that while he was going on to destroy the believers, he saw the light brighter than the sun. That's the light I saw. In the instrument of the Levite, 1975, looking for me. Well, my aunt's lover was there to wrap up the deal. And he was concerned that they couldn't get me to be what they couldn't bring me in. They couldn't reel me in. And that was like a surprise, a shock to him. Because in his mind, nothing could hinder him from sealing up the deal. And he used to say, as I remarked in my documentary, Rising to the Final Battle, he used to say, pardon the expression, but I want to use his words. My family don't go nowhere else but hell. He used to say. In my hearing, I heard this as a young boy, and it had me on pins and needles. I was on an extreme watch because I knew I was dealing with Satan. I couldn't figure out how everything was, put together until May 2020. The Father gave me the revelation what they had done to me. Masons, man, despicable, disgusting, satanic beasts. The Masons, the Freemasons, those are the ones who had us in captivity, Yasha Allah. So I'm calling you, my brethren, in the spirit of the Most High, our power, sharing with you. You take courage, Yasha Allah. We've had hard trials, hard things that we had to deal with, Yasha Allah. You're my brothers and my sisters. Atakaba. Don't give up now. We are near to crossing over. Take courage. You gotta go through some stuff. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna it's gonna cut your breath. I'm serious. You're gonna go through stuff where you might feel that this is gonna be the last breath you take. Mashiach, he got it. He's watching over you. He shed his blood to make sure that nothing can take you off of this earth unless he says so. Nothing. So you endure hardness, as Pastor Charles said. Endure hardness. As a good soldier of Mashiach, our mother. We're gonna endure this fight of affliction, Yasha Allah. Be coming through him that loved us, gave his life as a sacrifice to redeem us, bring us back to himself, and set us up forever to be at peace with him in Jerusalem. I bless you, my brothers, in the name of the Most High and of our Mashiach. Peace. You want me to press N on this now, okay? Sure. Hey, girl. You want me to press the N on this now? Mm-hmm. I want you to see it first before I do it. Mm-hmm.